Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our F1 23 driver career mode. I hope you're all having a... Oh, hold on. We're getting a call from our agent. Yo, what's up?
Hey, I need you in the meeting room after first practice. Someone wants to talk to you. You'll see then.
Alright, I'll see you then. Well, what could that mean? We're going to find out, but we're coming off of an 8th place in Monza, a recovery drive after getting some early damage after contact with Yuki Tsunoda, just a racing deal, really an awkward moment. Floor damage, side pod damage, but, moving on from that, it's now Singapore weekend, my favorite Grand Prix weekend. You guys know I love this circuit, I love this venue, the city, it's so beautiful, a bucket list Grand Prix for me. I don't love when it's absolutely downpouring, though. It's not great for going out and visiting Singapore, but it's great for me in terms of a racing perspective because we know we have a lot of benefits in the rain. Now, it's supposed to be dry in the Grand Prix. It was also dry later in FP1, as you can see. But as well, qualifying, there is a chance of rain. It's not a big chance, but it sounds like it might happen. But just getting, comfortable with the car here in FP1, just getting up to grips with this Red Bull Ford and see how it handles. Now, I am hoping for a good weekend for this team. We are, for the first time this season, outside of when everyone's on even points in the first round, we are in the championship battle. We have continued to make headway. Obviously, we lost some last episode in Monza, but it could have been worse because we didn't see a McLaren, go and dominate. It was Verstappen that was able to pick up another victory here. But we end up P13 here in FP1, about the usual, honestly. We don't really do anything special. But now, it was time for a meeting with someone, and it was Justin Marks from Trackhouse Racing.
Thanks for taking a moment to meet with me, Gary. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Justin. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'll get straight to the point for you. Trackhouse Racing is a successful team in the NASCAR Cup Series. We've won many races now and have fought for championships. We've expanded into MotoGP and are looking to continue our international expansion by jumping into Formula One. We want 2 young stars to lead our team to success.
And how are you planning to get into the sport with no one wanting new teams in?
We're looking to take over Aston Martin, who we're negotiating with. It's not a done deal yet, but it is close. Are you willing to keep in touch with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's stay in touch.
All right, awesome. Good luck this weekend.
Well then, how about that? I don't know what to make of it. You let me know down below in the comments, but we've got some things to think about. And as well, most importantly, this is a team that isn't even signed a deal to actually come into the sport. It might not even happen. It might fall through. We'll find that out very soon. But wow, that's some news we have to think on. You guys let me know, almost as a board of directors, what we should do. We come through into Q1, focusing in on everything. P3 and Q1, pretty happy with that. But focusing in on the rest of the race weekend outside of everything that we just, witnessed and conversated about with Justin Marks, who is a very influential character in the NASCAR scene, who's really been pushing the boundaries. But we start Q2, it's raining, but it's right at the beginning of raining, so we were able to get a lap in, and everybody's going to be able to get a lap in. Everyone's hustling on these dry tires to try and be the first one basically to cross the stripe and get back around, because the conditions are only going to worsen as this session goes on, so it's crucial to get a lap in as soon as you can. And I struggled a little bit here and there for grip, but DRS was still enabled, telling me, okay, the track's still good enough, at least, to be on these dry tires. We come through the final set of corners and to the line. We're actually going to go a quite impressive P2, and we were like the, 10th or so car to cross the line. But look at this. Verstappen only went P11. Pourchaire and Drugovich end up in the top 10, and obviously the times would not improve, so Verstappen's out in Q2 with Gasly, Iwasa, Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda. Big disappointment there. But now, we have surprises of Drugovich in Q3. It was raining still, but it would dry up right towards the end of the session, and that's when I would head on to the circuit. You can see, I think we're going to get pole position. I'll tell you why. Everyone's already making their lap on dries, and they started their lap when the track was already pretty damp. You can see the track still has a bit of moisture on it. So we have a very legitimate chance, and I think easy chance to get pole, because we're going to be the one making our lap on the driest conditions so far. And you can see a purple sector 1, it looks like. Look at the timing there, 1.5 seconds of improvement, but that's also compared to the intermediate lap times that everybody put up. But like I said, everybody's outside of myself, their first about half the lap was on a damp circuit, while my lap, at worst, it was a little bit moist. That was it. So I think as long as we don't throw this lap away, I think we got pole. I'm pretty sure we're going to get this now. So we just have to hang on basically now through these final sector corners. And you're going to see as we come through these final corners, things are looking pretty spectacular right now. You got Porcher, Norris, Drugovich, Jackson down in 6th. I'm trying to make it worse and put him down to P7, one of the course championship threats, one of the main contenders. We cross the stripe. It's pole position here in Singapore.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Mark is fired up. We're all fired up. Pole position by a 2.5 seconds. Like I said, it was obvious we were going to get pole. Drugovich, Norris, Porcher at the bottom of the grid, but Albon right there with us. Leclerc, Russell, Piastri, the top 5. Jackson down in P7. Let's get ready to head to the grid and see what we can do on Sunday.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. Here's the track, and it's all changed for 2023 with 4 corners removed between turns 16 and 19. It means the lap length is now just over 3 miles, and that might come as a welcome relief to the drivers, or especially their brakes. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Drugovich, Norris, Théo Pourchaire, Verstappen, Gasly, Iwasa, Ocon, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Joe, Jackson, Hughes, Butler, and Callie Mayer. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? Looks like they have a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a much more aggressive approach today to make up for that compromised start.
We got some grid penalty here for specifically the McLaren of Aiden Jackson. Medium to hards, very simple as usual. Let's get ready to roll for the formation lap.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
A lot of medium and soft tires split. Jackson on the softs trying to move forward quickly. This is a huge opportunity to gain some more points, especially if we can beat both him as well as Albon to make up for the issues in Monza.
So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right and which ones have got it horribly wrong?
All right, mate, just be aware we are monitoring some heat issues on both cars. I'll keep you updated.
Okay, sounds fun. Hopefully that doesn't mean what I think it means. Monitoring some heat issues, not on my car, but both cars, for Verstappen as well as myself. We'll see what that means for the future of this Grand Prix. Now, the 2 Connor Sport cars, as usual, bringing up the back of the grid. We're pole in Singapore. We've been close to winning this Grand Prix. We've had opportunities that hasn't quite worked out. To think about the time when we got wrecked by George Russell. Let's try and change that today. Lights out. We're underway in Singapore. Soft start for Albon, but it's not enough to get the grip. We drive away. It's a great start and a great launch into turn number 1. Piastri's going to lunge one up the inside. Wheel-to-wheel contact there with Albon. No damage done. That is a huge break for Alex Albon, and he stays in 2nd. Piastri 3rd. The 2 Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz 4th and 5th, and there is Felipe Drugovich. He's been rumored to be potentially our teammate next season at Red Bull Ford, or will we be still at Red Bull Ford? That's the question now up in the air. But Drugovich, I mean, this is potentially a career weekend for him if he can especially come out of this with some points. A great qualifying effort, and now maybe a great Grand Prix effort on the way as well, as he has continued to have a pretty solid rookie season. Unlike Aiden Jackson last year, who started the year really hot and then kind of fell off, Dragovic has at least been able to continue his consistency all season long. And however, obviously for Aiden Jackson, it didn't mean anything bad. He's shown up to McLaren and has now lit the world on fire and is fighting for a world championship. He's been absolutely incredible. But nonetheless, we're going to lead this opening lap here in the Singapore Grand Prix. 31 laps, it's a long, grueling race, and Alex Albon is on an early charge. Not surprising. He's on soft tires. I expect him to pass me momentarily, and it's probably going to happen on this lap, specifically on that first DRS opportunity here that we're about to be coming up on. Now, it's so hard to hold off a car, especially when they have a pretty significant advantage, and you're going to see it right here. Alex Albon, I can't defend this. Look at the pace of the McLaren. He swings to the left side, and he's going to go take the lead here. Albon hasn't won since race 3 of the season. Of course, he came out of the gate so strong. Won race 1, 2, and 3, and hasn't won since. He's still had a great season fighting for the world title, but his teammate Aiden Jackson took over. But it looks like Albon is in position here today to maybe get back to the top step of the podium. However, I think we have the better strategy. So as long as we can keep the car in one piece, keep it clean, not have any curveballs thrown at us, I think we're in the position here to win this Grand Prix as long as we can stay within Albon's DRS. And we were doing exactly that. We come to lap 3 and you can see just hanging onto that DRS, doing what we need to do. He's got really good pace on those soft tires, and you can see he would stretch the gap out actually as we come to lap 4, just about a second now between himself and I. So he was doing a good job of opening it up a bit, but I was now 1.1 seconds back, 1.2. So yeah, we're not going to have DRS now. He is now starting to pull away. So I was pushing really hard to just try and keep him within striking distance. Don't let him get comfortable. Oscar Piastri about 1.3 seconds back at this point in this Grand Prix, has actually sideswiped the wall just a little bit right there, but the gap to Piastri was starting to open up, and we had some battles around this circuit. This is Lando Norris moving past now Dragovic, going to put him down into P7, and in the far background you see George Russell as well, making a move on Tail Portier for the 9th position. Jackson, 17th to 11th. He's been absolutely flying right here in that McLaren. On those soft tires, it seems like the McLaren is really firing off on softs tonight, because now you can see 1.6 seconds between myself and Albon. He's starting to drive away. It's getting a bit concerning now as we try to keep him, like I said, within striking range, as we got yellow flags, actually. Yellow flags behind. That might be my teammate. That is. It's our teammate of Max Verstappen. He's got the smoke pouring out of the back of the engine, and it's going to be day over for Verstappen. He's right in front of everybody who can't seem to get around him. That's going to create a huge gap between Dragovic and the cars behind, but day over, night over for Max Verstappen. And you heard Mark tell us pre-race that they were monitoring some heat issues on both cars. Obviously that's got to play a role in that, so now you have to wonder, what does the future of our Grand Prix look like? Now, we've had one mechanical failure this season. It was in the season opener in Australia. Let's hope we don't have a second tonight, because we can still win this Grand Prix now. 2 seconds between myself and Albon, as Piastri is still about 1.2, 1.3 seconds back. He was actually doing a really good job in that Aston Martin, which has continued to bring upgrades. They've brought more upgrades this weekend. They are becoming a threat. But now we know, the rumor is, they might not be in the sport of Formula 1 next season, so their future is very uncertain. Lawrence Stroll might be selling all the shares in Aston Martin. We'll really have to wait and see what happens there. But now there it goes. The engine fails here in Singapore, just a few laps after Verstappen.
All right, I'm sorry, Gary, retire the car. Retire the car.
Guys, we cannot afford this right now. I mean, come on. You hear my reaction. It's going to be day over for us, unfortunately. That's just unfortunate. That's really the only way to put it, obviously. Our day's over. The question now is, does Alex Albon pick up the victory, or did somebody else dethrone him? Now, let's take a look at the finishing results. You see McLaren celebrating. It's definitely going to be Alex Albon, or, well, I hope it's Alex Albon and not Aiden Jackson. It'd be a little bit better, I think, for a championship situation. There it is. Alex Albon, 4th win of the season. He's back on top after a long time in the making. Looks like Sainz is there on the podium, and I'm going to assume the other one's going to be Oscar Piastri for the Aston Martin team. But yeah, That really sucks. Is that something to do with, hot tracks? We have, some more hot night races on the way. Singapore is always hot, but you look ahead at the schedule, we also have Qatar, as well as Abu Dhabi and Bahrain all coming up. 3 that are going to be pretty hot Grand Prix. So, and we have a race in the United States at Circuit of the Americas in the daytime, but still it's pretty hot in Texas at that time of the season. So there is some concerns after a moment like that. Definitely something we're going to have to get sorted out, talk to Christian Horner about, and of course with the team, and get the developments, in the right direction. But, focusing in on the rest of the race, Felipe Drugovich held on to some points over Ocon, actually. Esteban Ocon in the struggling Alpine gets P10. Zhou Guan Yu, tail Porcher there, P11 and P12. Iwasa and Gasly just behind them. But look at the difference it makes. We're now 50 points back. So, we did all that work to get into striking distance, and now we're kind of back to where we were a few episodes ago. Fortunately, there is time. 143 back in the Constructors. I say we can write that off, and we're just focused in on the Drivers' Championship now. So, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a great day.